Fresno Pacific continues the homestand Saturday game against Biola head coach CJ Haydock. And it feels like we were just in here as the game ended early Friday morning against Westmont. 4 overtimes, but you know, we said after the game we were going to maybe dive a little bit more into some of the things that made that happen. The grittiness of this team, the toughness of this team, what is it that you have been most excited about in terms of the growth?
Yeah, I think our commitment to like being long-term focused is really exciting to us, and to see some guys like mature and come in to know what they want to be. We talk a lot about like you can't skip steps, but you don't have to repeat steps in our program. And so, you know, against Westmont, 2 sophomores have games in the high 20s. Every time we need a paint touch or a free throw, it's Isaac Peralta. Every time we need a steal, it's Isaac Peralta. And every time we need a buzzer beating 3, it's Kyle Monk. And so like those guys have paid the dues to earn those outcomes. And I think like in our world that's obsessed with quick fixes, for us to see the byproduct of a long-term growth mindset is really powerful in young people for sure.
Well, you're starting to reap some of those rewards, and I think you kind of had put your thumb on, hey, when is some of this stuff going to come together, and feeling like, hey, we know we have a tough slog with the front half of the conference schedule. Now you look at the back half, we have so many home games lined up still. I believe 8 of the final 11 here at the Special Events Center. What sort of application are you looking for, or from those first parts of the season, that you still feel like this team can kind of ascend to?
For sure. I think you have to do, I think like being a successful college basketball team comes in like waves, and there's steps to it. So you have to build a base and a foundation of who you are first. And we took a little extra time for that. And I feel like we have a really good grasp of it now. And then within that base and foundation, how do you steal 4 points here out of scheme? How do you steal 4 points here out of personnel knowledge? Especially when you get into repeats, right? We play Biola for the second time. How do you get just a little sharper and a little more connected with your prep? And so I think that's the elevation we're looking for, as well as like we've always really prided ourselves with our guys, whether they're freshmen or whether they're seniors, of them having an upward growth arc individually as players. And we try to point them in really specific directions of what we want them to be getting better with their individual skills. But we spend a lot of time on it in practice, outside of practice, in film. So I think both of those things are the key as you trend up. And then, you know, the other part is like college basketball is a slog, you know, especially for us with all the road miles we have on us. It's nice to be home and catch up on some rest and some of those things. But like, can you find the emotional and mental toughness to show up every day and keep chasing the best version of yourself? The team that's mature in that way, that has the highest character in that way, that has the highest resilience in that way, that team finds a way to win. And so we recruit those guys, so we have a lot of confidence in who they are in that regards for sure. But it's somewhere in the morass of all those things that you find second half success.
Morass, nice word.
Yeah.
The base, I think of what you're saying, a lot of times coaches will say, with a cliche word of maybe identity.
Yeah.
And one of the things you guys have hung your hat on all year long is your defense. Number 1 in the Pac-West in scoring defense again.
Yeah.
Even after 94 points, Westmont in 4 overtimes.
Yep.
But you guys are finding different ways to win. What do you think that says about you guys right now?
I think there's a lot of belief. I think we have some Ted Lasso in us right now. Is like,
I saw the tweet.
Yeah, you saw it. We were in the third overtime, the third, the second, the fourth. It all blurs together. The third overtime against Westmont, we're down 6 with 58 seconds to go. And I'm not sure that I had belief at that moment, but our team's just like, nah, like we've been in this game a million times and we know who we are, and Kyle's going to make a 3 inevitably here, and IP's going to get to the free throw line. So like somewhere in that is an elevation. It can carry you. And so we're really proud of our defensive identity. I think it's elevated just in the last couple weeks. And I think we continue to find some offensive solutions, although that continues to be a work in progress in some ways. And so I think all of those things are critical to where we are and where we're going.
Well, you talk about your identity. A team that has known its identity for a long time is Biola. You see them here on today. and it's the second game of the season series. You saw them once already. They were pretty tough at their place. What did you learn from that one that you can maybe make some adjustment on? And two teams going in different directions a little bit. They've had a tough go as of late. They've lost 2 in a row. You guys have won 4 in a row. How do you kind of keep those momentums going?
For sure. I think the Pac West is the deepest it's ever been since I've been in the league. But I do think there's only 3 teams that can win the league at this point, and I think Biola's one of them. And so, we were really disappointed with our effort at their place. We felt like we let go of the rope a little bit. We were pretty short-handed. We only dressed 8 guys that night, and most of those guys are back. Not all, but most are back today. But we felt like that was kind of the point where we needed a little bit of a hard reset. We had lost some of our defensive toughness and grit in certain stretches, and then we let them disjoint us. And they'll do that. The most disciplined team in the league, the most organized team in the league, without a doubt. We are good at disrupting teams. We'll turn you over, and we'll do a good job of taking you out of your stuff. And you can't do that to Biola at a very high level. And so, I think internally, as we looked at the film and in our game prep, we feel pretty motivated to put a better product out there against them. Whether that's enough for us to get it done today remains to be seen, but we for sure have a deep sense of, man, we got to be better than that on both sides of the ball, with our discipline on offense and just with our grit on defense, for sure.
Well, we're about to find out. Good luck today, Coach.
Appreciate it.
Head Coach CJ Haydock will be right back with Starting Lineups and Tip right here on the Sunbird Sports Network.